Let's go. Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. Ready for another season. Let's break it down as the Knicks win their first preseason game in Charlotte. It was an entertaining game. We got to see the new look Knicks. That was the most important thing. But the Knicks got the dub as well. Now let's react. Let's overreact. You're going to get to vote on your player standout from tonight as the Knicks win 111-109. Welcome in chat. Welcome in Knicks Nation. Ready for another season. And great to be with you. Glad you could join us. Salute. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Tyler Kolek closed the game out, and the bench gave the Knicks a spark tonight, right? Early on, the Knicks starters, were a little rusty, but obviously that's to be expected, figuring things out, right? And obviously in the second quarter, the starters, look better. And then at halftime, that was it for the starters. And then the bench got to finish the game out. And I think that was the biggest story for me, guys, tonight. The bench definitely got some much needed reps, got to show the Knicks Nation and the fans that, they're better than people think, right? Is Tyler Kolek ready for some minutes throughout the season, right? Let's talk about it, guys. Salute Paula, buzzer beater, Ryan, Prezi, and everyone else. Replay squad, salute. Excited to break this down. But of course, like I said, you can vote on your player standout from tonight's game. All you got to do is drop a hashtag player's initials, and you'll get to vote on your player standout from tonight's game, right? Was it Tyler Kolek closing the game out late, right? Was it Karl-Anthony Towns splashing some threes from deep early? Or was it Deuce McBride and his 22 points, right? Showing and picking up where he left off after last season, right? Let's go through the box score first, like we do. And then we'll shout out some chat and get some thoughts of Knicks Nation out here as the Knicks win. Salute Will. What's up, Lee and John and Tony in the building. Deuce McBride. I mean, he's going to be tough to beat tonight. I think he might be the player standout, fam. 4 of 9 from deep. Hit both of his free throws. Was 8 of 18. And definitely getting that volume, those shots that, we talked about. Dante DiVincenzo leaving the Knicks and maybe those shots going to Miles McBride and, picking up where he left off as well. We'll talk about some news that's just dropped on Walker Kessler and some dialogue that the Knicks had on that one previously. But look, Tyler Kolek made some plays late. He stole the show in the fourth quarter, in my opinion. He finished, as you see on screen, Kolek was splashing those 3 balls. He finished 3 of 5 from distance with 11 points, right, in a fine little cameo in his 13 minutes as well. But Karl-Anthony Towns early, right, what are your thoughts on his debut? And Mikal Bridges, 10 points from Cat. I thought defensively he looked active, poked the ball away and definitely, was a deterrent on some of those lob threats. I saw what I needed to see. I think he can be live body defensively. Offensively, 1 of 5 from deep, right? Shaking off some of the rust early in the season. But one of those threes, his first bucket, was that deep 3 ball that you want to see, spacing the floor out. But yeah, the bench was the story. We see Jalen Brunson, right? JB getting his first dunk of the season early in the ball game as well. I agree. I like Tibbs' decision to sit the starters. We expected that to happen. And of course, that happened as well. Landry Shamet, really, really solid game. 6 of 11 from the field, 4 of 8 from distance as well, guys. 16 points, right? Landry Shamet, you can vote for him as your player standout. Hashtag LS in the chat, or you can QR code as well, right? But the story for me, the bench spark, and he was a part of that. Him and Deuce. Cameron Payne, a little erratic with the basketball at times, but I thought Precious was really good. And I thought Jericho Sims was also really, really solid as well, right? But yeah, like S. Murphy agrees, Shamet looked really good. Same with Ryan. Shout out to the Liberty, people coming through the chat as well. We're buzzing right now. Salute Julian and Will. Ryan's already voting as well. We've got Big O to third in the building as well, guys. The votes are coming in for your player standout on this one. Good to get a dub. It was going to head to overtime, but Dwayne Washington, man, on a dubious foul call, which didn't look like a foul to me. Precious looked like he got hand, which is a part of the ball. But Dwayne Washington had 3 free throws to put the Hornets up 1. Right, they were 2 down, but he missed all 3. Right, is he doing the New York Knicks another favor? Like Dwayne Washington, of course, was a big part of that trade and got the extra money in that deal as well. But Brunson climbed upstairs and helped the New York Knicks get their win. Quiet night from Mikal Bridges, right? He was definitely, on the quieter side tonight. But, 5 guys on offense that can all eat. And I think, he's just going to find his rhythm within that offense and the team, obviously. But I like the Karl Anthony Towns dribble handoff with JB at the top of the key. I like some high-low action that the New York Knicks ran as well. Cat was busy trying to get the post-ups as well and make his man pay too. And here's Deuce stealing the lunch of that European guard, man, and taking it strong to the rack for another jam as well with some great highlight plays. And that's how you know New York Knicks basketball is back, guys. Deuce getting loose as well. Look, he's my player standout. That's my vote. And Deuce Miles McBride, man, he's going to be the 6th man and the 5th starter, the 6th starter basically, if any guy in the starter misses time too. But look, Precious Achua putting this man on a poster. I thought Precious was very active too. And we'll go through each player as we go throughout tonight's show. Smash the like button. You're live with CT, our first post game of the season, right? And you guys are all here with me and also on Replay Squad as well. We've got a super chat from Buzzer Beater. Let's hit on that right now. Buzzer says, how many times did Cat and Brunson run the pick and pop? I want to see more of it, definitely. But the times that I did see it, it was nice, But obviously, first preseason game, I think, they only played a half, of course. First half, in terms of, not playing the second half of the ball game, and I think those guys were eager. You could see they were playing at a higher speed, higher pace, as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of that, pick and pop. But I did see it a few times too. Mike's what's up in the building. Will says Shamet looking like a rotation player. Absolutely agree with that. Another key standout for me, guys, was the ball movement. The starters, obviously the 5-out look that we saw and we talked about in the off season, and definitely it lived up to its billing in terms of the floor spacing for me. Obviously, Cat was inefficient from 3, but he's got a quick trigger. When he's open, you want him to let it fly as well. So plenty of votes coming in, but how do you rate the starting 5 as well on the first up look too? We've got about 200 people in the chat rocking with us. We've got the streets buzzing too. Shout out to the crowd as well. You guys would have heard on the feed if you saw it as well. Jay Boogie was in the building with family as well as other members of our community as well, representing big time in Charlotte tonight. Right, the crowd was really, really into it, as they always are. As we come to expect. Christian Winfield also noticed the Knicks were playing super fast in a way that we didn't see them play consistently last season. And also James L. Edwards says Cat's passing to him had really popped. He found OG and Jalen on a couple of off curls around him with the lob passes as well. So the ball movement, I think the stretchability, and also the bench spark helped get the New York Knicks back into this ball game. But let's take a look at Cat's first bucket, right? Little dribble handoff with JB. We're going to see a lot of this as Cat as the trailer to making guys pay. Look, LaMelo points to him. No one goes to close him out, man. And he makes the D pay as well. So we're going to see many, many, many more of those too. Man, the deep shooting range. We haven't seen that, since Chris Stapps as well. We've got our own version, ladies and gentlemen, right? And he's a flamethrower, and he's just got to pick his right spots, and also attack the closeout on those ones as well. What did you guys see of Nick Richards as well? Just on the Charlotte side, I noticed LaMelo Ball. Good to see him healthy. Josh Green, I'm a fan of his. I think he'll get a nice role in Charlotte. Brandon Miller's a problem. They've got a new coach as well, and their rookie TJ Salon got some much needed reps up, as well. But I thought Nick Richards was a problem as well. Was he auditioning for the Knicks to come trade for me? What did you guys think about his game too? But I want to shout out some Jericho Sims as well as part of the bench. I thought Jericho, noticeably Hahn and Breen mentioned on the feed like we did last show, he looks bigger. Man, Jericho Sims has put on some more muscle, and it definitely helped us out on the boards, fam. As I bring up the team stats in a minute, but let's look at Jericho's numbers, fam. 10 rebounds. Excellent work from Jericho on the block. 5 offensive and 5 defensive rebounds. Was a +1 in the plus minus as well. Cameron Payne, man, he let it fly. Got 14 shots up. Was inefficient. 1 of 7 from distance as well. But he was aggressive, right? And he brings a change of pace. He brings a change of pace to what we've been doing with all of, previously, like those guys had noticed too. So Precious Achua, we talked about him. Let's bring up the team stats for everyone so we can just chop that up and continue to shout you guys out. You're rocking with the best chat in the biz. We're buzzing after the first preseason game. Some things we've got to clean up, and I'll talk about that in a minute too. But we always start with the positives too. Knicks absolutely played at a good pace, 23 fast break points, as you see in the bottom right. Second chance points we also won as well. We've been familiar with that. Obviously Hartenstein and Mitch were a big part of our second chance points, but we picked up where we left off, Good hustle game tonight. Shot a welcome 78% from the free throw, so that was solid. We've got to clean up our field goal percentage. Obviously a little rusty. Guys were jacking, especially Cameron Payne, but extended minutes tonight. He's not going to really see that. He basically played the whole second half as well with Tyler Kolek. A positive is the turnovers. Only 10 turnovers in the first preseason game, right? Do you attribute that to Tyler Kolek, his steady play? Obviously, JB as well. 10 turnovers for a whole game, first preseason game. I'll take it. Charlotte finished with 19. So credit to the Knicks defense on that one. Also, you guys see the steals. 11 steals for the New York Bockers to Charlotte's 3 as well. So we're getting in the passing lanes. Shout out to Deuce McBride as well. Tyler Kolek as well, man. Put him basically in the straitjacket late in that ball game, man. Tyler Kolek had a point to prove tonight. As a team, we did lose the rebounding, though, but some good individual efforts. Deuce McBride with the top score as well. I'm starring some comments too, trying to get through as many as I can. But let's keep things buzzing. Prezi says, who do you think will be in the final bench for the 9-man rotation and the 10th man? That's a great question, man. And obviously I'm going to see, more, moves from Tibbs, but Jake Toppin got some burn. Huck Porty and McCullough didn't. We can confirm McCullough is still rehabilitating, so that's why you guys didn't see Kevin McCullough tonight. But Ariel Huck Porty, I think he'll play, later in the preseason, a bit more maybe in some garbage time. But it does show that Jericho Sims and Precious are the preferred bigs off the bench. And then I think Shamet has definitely earned himself a rotation spot. How many minutes do you guys feel? I feel Shamet could deserve, anywhere from 10 to 15 for me personally. And look, Cameron Payne, it's not, I don't think anything should be set in stone for CP, because Cameron Payne can be a little erratic, but he does bring a change of pace. So tonight wasn't his night offensively, but he played 26 minutes. So he's not going to play that much unless there's an injury. So I would definitely shrink Payne's minutes. Let's get Landry Shamet's minutes up a bit more. 4 of 8. That's excellent. That's Devo numbers for me. +8 in the box score and 16 points as well with 2 steals. So he could probably be my second standout after Deuce Miles McBride. And get your votes in hashtag with the player initial or a surname. But yeah, Deuce is my standout from tonight's ball game, and he's everything we need, right? And I don't want to see him traded. Guys, what do you think about the rumors with Marcus Smart? Deuce Miles McBride has to stay in New York, Nick. We've lost a couple of good ones, and I'm not prepared to lose Deuce with this situation. Coach says let Kolek rock. Old Head says Shamet looks good. Paula says 10 to 15 minutes for Shamet. Buzzer says Tyler Kolek made good decisions with the ball. Exactly. Christopher says enjoy the game, like what I saw from Sims and Tyler too. Appreciate you guys for the comments. Prezi says smash the like button. Hulk smash. Ryan says the Hornets look good out there. Definitely underestimated them on that one too. Yeah, I think the Charlotte Hornets are going to play fast. They've got the new coach pop that you get, that new coach bounce. But I think they will definitely fall back, to their spot. Jeffrey, love the bench. John says Shamet, Precious, and Deuce were nice. Killer Dog says McBride represented as well. And Nick P, agree with you. Salute, not the bad first game. Not a bad first game up. 100%. No injuries. That's the first thing that you got to salute. The starters didn't play too much, which is good, and let the rookies cook. Guys, salute Jose and Nice and Pablo in the building with Boulevard. You can vote for your player standout. All you got to drop is a hashtag player initials too. Yeah, look, Brunson was a little rusty early, but finished 5 of 11. Definitely tried his couple of spin moves, post-up moves, finished with 12 points. But the 3-point shooting, continues to be solid, 2 of 4. That's what you want to see. Little quiet. The 2 quietest Knicks were obviously Josh Hart and Bridges for me. Even OG I thought was a bit more lively. 6 rebounds, got us 2 blocks and 4 points. Josh Hart finished with a donut. But look, he's probably in first gear. Josh Hart's saving up all his energy for when we really need him to. But first hit out, guys are going to be up and down a little bit first game, right? Josh Hart actually did confirm he had a pretty late start to his preseason. He didn't play basketball for a good period of time because he felt like he needed that rest. And I can completely understand with that. But how about JB climbing upstairs with that one? It was definitely MSG 2.0 tonight, guys. And that means the next game, we get a couple days off, and then we hit MSG on Wednesday night against the Washington Wizards. We get our first look at those guys too. But yeah, shout out to the chat. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And shout out to Replay Squad as well. You can also still vote on your player standout. Yeah, as I said, guys, we're going to see a lot more of the starters, and we kind of know what to expect. But the story for tonight was a few more question marks, but also a few questions answered for me in regards to the bench lineup and the Knicks rotation now. I think Tibbs is definitely going to go with a 9-man. And you could definitely include Sims as a 10th guy, but Sims is probably still that 10th guy to me. I think Campaign, Deuce, and Shamet look like a pretty solid combo. They got us back into the ball game. The speed is a problem. Kind of inbound the ball fast like Indiana do, and put the defense on its heels. I think those 3 guys are a bit undersized, but we can play really fast and get up and down like it's Rucker or it's Dykeman. You know what I mean? That's what the bench is all about to me. It's not about playing slow, half-court kind of stuff, right? We want easy buckets. We want to get up and down, change of pace. all of those kinds of things as well. And look, Tyler Kolek was definitely a standout for me. He would be probably top 4, top 3 standouts for me, albeit garbage time, and albeit, it was a situation where, it was back and forth at a quick pace as well. But he looked calm and he looked reassured, you know. And I'm definitely going to shout out his defensive stop on this one too. You see, let's bring it up on the bigger screen. So there were some question marks over Kolek's D. What do you guys think about this defensive stop late in the ball game? He showed heart and he showed some toughness on this one. Didn't put off his spot as well and put that guy in a straight jacket as he hit the hardwood. AP says, I'm giving props to McBride and Kolek. Great to hear. Big Dave Sims looks jacked. Absolutely, too. Ed K, agree. Don't even think about trading Deuce. And this guy, Kolek, wow. JB looked a bit rusty, but it's going to come soon. J Will, hashtag Deuce. Nice, says, oh my God, wait until Kolek and Deuce gets an understanding of each other. This team, we good. So Pablo's going with the Kolek over Payne early, and I can't disagree based on one game. But I think a little healthy competition, man, that's going to be great. I think Tibbs is always going to give that veteran, the first opportunity, which is, kind of understandable. You don't want to upset a veteran early in the season. You let your rookie earn their keep. But man, I don't think it's going to take long for Kolek to earn his keep. And I spoke about it after the draft, and we did all this draft coverage, and it's still relevant to this day. But I said it, a lot of these rookies are more ready than people think. 23 years old, you're not coming in as a 19-year-old. I think Tyler Kolek has served his dues in college, definitely. And we saw Brunson come in, after the championships in Villanova. He looked ready early in his career as well. Tyler Kolek is going to be learning under JB a lot. I think that's just going to serve him all the best for his impact, on this team, right? So we didn't get to see Pacome Dadier even in extended garbage time. So that was a little bit of a surprise, but I guess he wants the guys who we feel could factor into the season early and get their feet wet, which is a great way to play it, I feel, with Tibbs. I got to give Tibbs a solid A tonight. I think rotation-wise, he did what I needed to see. He played the right guys. He made the challenge call, which is questionable, right? But it won us the ball game, right? I mean, it would have been overturned and would have won us the ball game on that. Pablo, the turnovers for Payne hurt, but also the shot selection was definitely a bit erratic with Cameron Payne, but that's what you get with him. So I feel like he could be a quick hook with Tibbs. He could be the kind of Obi early in his career where, let it fly. If Cam Payne looks a bit erratic, maybe Tibbs goes up, changes it up, goes with Deuce or possibly Tyler Kolek. But yeah, I'm mindful not to overreact too much because it was garbage time and it was late in the ball game. But Tyler definitely looked, comfortable, really comfortable. I think in the fast-paced game, late down the stretch. Also, the crowd was going crazy as well. Nick says, I feel like we need more size. Yeah, I feel like at times we did get bullied a little bit. We're definitely going to have to do well at team rebounding, gang rebounding. And also we missed Hart. Hart only got 1 rebound tonight. So like I said, I feel like Hart was definitely in first gear tonight. OG did really solid, battling with 6 rebounds in 14 minutes. Kat gave us 4 defensive rebounds. Jericho was a man among boys. Precious did okay as well. Got us 3 offensive rebounds as well. But yeah, we could be looking at some big man help, right? As we continue to shout you guys out and break down our first preseason game. Let me just bring up some news that just dropped during the game in relating to Walker Kessler. You guys may have, seen this or not. Obviously, we've talked about him a lot, but reporting Mark Stein is that the Utah Jazz reportedly wanted 2 firsts for Kessler before coming to terms on a blockbuster swap for Cat, right? Mere days before the start of camp, New York made multiple trade runs at Utah's Walker Kessler to fit its well-chronicled void, right? League sources say. So the Knicks made multiple runs to make this Kessler deal happen, fam, right before the Cat trade went down as well. But as Danny Ainge, always bugging, he wanted at least 2 first future picks, right? After the Knicks exhausted much of their remaining cachet of draft picks in the trade for Bridges, right? So happy with that decision. I'm happy, right? Obviously, Walker Kessler would have been a solid pickup, but I mean, you can't be giving up, more than 2 seconds, right? 2 firsts for a guy like him, when you can get Cat how we did, and we went bigger game hunting with that. So, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. We know the Knicks weren't going to leave any stones unturned, and that just shows that, we, before pulling the trigger, on the Cat deal, right, it was all about, making sure that we did the right move with that situation. So, Hart was playing funny games with the cameras like he is, but you guys get to vote on your player standout for the first game of the season is in the books, right? Deuce McBride is leading the race right now. Nice. Says Shamit proved me wrong. 2 steals. His defense not too bad at all. Yeah, man. I think a lot of fans are agreeing with you now, man. I think Washington last year, too much was made about his season with them, they weren't trying to win games. When you're trying to lose, players like him on the fringes don't get to showcase what they can really do. Landry has a career number of 38%, and I think that's the key number to look at. Players can have a down year, but when it comes to totality, look at your career, and I think he's, really going to be a solid pickup, for basically nothing, man. Just like a Bogdanovich role, just like a role like Alec Burks, even. Could he be the new AB with that one? And absolutely was thinking the same thing. Like Buzzer says with our super chat, appreciate you once again, Buzzer. Appreciate the contributions, really, man. Great to be a part of this with you. And you say Dwayne missing those free throws was poetic justice. I mean, after he missed the second one, I was just like, man, is he trying to give the hometown free chicken? Does the hometown get free chicken, free Chick-fil-A if he misses, But, maybe he was doing the New York Knicks a solid. We did fill his bank account up. And I think he's going to get waived, he's going to cash in a little bit more, get waived, and he's going to go back to Europe, I think. So, yeah, we got some commentary on Cat, the big Cat, his first Knicks debut, right? Some people still feel he's soft. I feel like he was a solid player on the defensive end. He battled, right? He's not Hartenstein, he's not Mitch defensively. I mean, that's an obvious statement, but what he did was battle. He was in a situation where he deflected a couple of alley-oop threats. Dude did the big Cat, and look, he finished with 2 steals. So I like the energy that he provided. It wasn't his night offensively with the efficiency, but he got to the line. He attacked closeouts. He put the ball on the deck like he does, and he got to the line 6 times and shot 83%. Did big Cat, and got the 4 boards as well. First half, 14 minutes as well. So, look, we could run into some problems having him at the 5 permanently, right? We are going to miss some rim protection that Mitch gives, definitely Isaiah, but we're just going to have to be a better team defense. I thought we were allowing a little bit too much dribble penetration, early. LaMelo, certainly Trey Mann, which reminded people that he's got some game as well. but also it was, Brandon Miller, and it was Josh Green getting to the rack, Nick Richards as well. So we do have to do a better job, I think, of preventing penetration that we did tonight. Mikal Bridges, right? I don't think he had a great defensive game. It's very early, but I think Mikal Bridges, we need a better performance defensively from him, and we'll get it, no doubt. But I think, yeah, he was pretty quiet tonight. So I'm going to give Cat a big pass, but I think Mikal Bridges was the quieter Nick of those two. Hard tackle is all in on Kolek, right? Jimmy says our ball movement is fire and no selfish players. I was thinking the same thing. The ball movement's really, really nice. So yeah, let these guys find their rhythm, man, and watch out rest of the league. JT says it's preseason, first game at that. Definitely, man. And these guys are even in second gear. To your point, absolutely correct. But the main thing is that the bench have a lot to prove, and I think they answered the questions tonight. So first up, I'm feeling better about the start of the season in regards to our bench. I think the experience of Deuce was important. He was playing like a starter out there, right? He was playing starter versus bench players, basically. And we talk about a guy who went for in a deep playoff run, right? And Deuce McBride played like it, playing like a guy who is ready to start. I keep talking about how high of a ceiling he has, man. He's only 24 on a really cheap contract. I think he has, potential to be a borderline all-star if he continues to ascend on this level this quickly as well. Players just need the minutes, and they can burst out of basically their current role, right? If Deuce was starting, I think his numbers were like 18 points a game, when he was starting for the New York Knicks last season. So his starting numbers can back it up when it comes to Deuce McBride and the opportunity that he deserves. But look, we lose Dante, and I feel like we're definitely going to rely on Deuce a lot more. And if he gives us performances like this, 22 points off the bench, right, we won't be missing Dante that much if Deuce can play like this. But I think it's shown it'll be a regular occurrence too, guys. Yep. AP says, I want to win all these games, including preseason. Yeah, it's good for chemistry, definitely. Good for vibes too. And the vibes definitely looked immaculate. You saw OG with Huck Porty, with Cat, everyone on the sidelines rooting for Kolek and rooting for those free throws to miss too. I do think Bridges has definitely got some things to prove. He came from a down year with Brooklyn, and it's not something I'm just saying now. I've said it all off season. We need to see the Mikal Bridges of the Phoenix days. And I think he'll have his best years as a Knick, but he's definitely capable of more than what he showed last season. I feel, and I feel like he'll get back to that because he's going to be the third option. And Brooklyn, he was the first option too. Nice says, after watching our bench and also watching McCullough highlights, I'm feeling more optimistic of the season. Yeah, great to hear. Kevin McCullough's a dog, and I think once he's healthy, he could definitely help us out as well. He's 6'6". He's got good length and good size too. Deuce plays with confidence, because he's not looking over his shoulder, just like Pablo says, too. So we'll get some thoughts of the media, too, as I'm going through all your comments. But just to remind you, you can vote on your player standout in the chat, hashtag as well, player initials, too. I mean, Tyler Kolek, man, he could have a little hive popping real soon. I think if Kolek produces this on a consistent basis, 10 to 15 minutes, the three ball for Tyler Kolek was the most pleasing aspect. Pulling up off the bounce, no hesitation, 3 of 5 in his first NBA action. I mean, I think the calmness, the experience has showed in that regard. When when you're 23 years old, you definitely look more ready. And I think Tyler Kolek could be a real NBA rotation player from year one. But it just so happens that we're a contending team. So it's just going to depend on chemistry, injuries, all of those things. But I think he will continue to knock on the door if there's an injury. But Tyler Kolek, to me, man, he showed that he could shoot the three ball off the bounce and defend. Also, +9, right? He was equal top plus minus with Precious in limited minutes, but 11 points early, man. He could be a little microwave. Like Troy says, he looked great, showed poise, and he could be that little microwave. King Ribby says Deuce Bigelow. Nice one. Jimmy, Kolek is Brunson 2.0, less selfish. I think he's definitely got less of a bag, but yeah, in terms of the offensive game, it could be underrated. Guys, Vin says, guys, it's the first live game they're playing together. It's a completely new team. They've got to figure out the timing and rotations, and they'll be fine. Yeah, definitely, man. I think we're just reacting, and many fans are reacting in the ways that we just haven't seen Knicks basketball for a minute. It's been a long off season, right? It's been busy, but a lot's happened, and obviously, the trade absolutely shook up the whole roster and the starting five. OG is that role player. He's not going to be that focal point, but what he does is move well off the ball. He plays to his strengths, and his strengths are playing off ball, catch and shoot, cut baseline. Always make the defense, shifting and moving accordingly, and that's going to open the floor up for Cat and for JB, and also for Josh Hart. He has to stay moving off the ball and also space it out in the corners. But I love to see Mikal Bridges with some more action on the ball, and we're going to get to see that, fam, as the preseason continues to roll along, right? We are going to be live at MSG on Wednesday night versus the Washington Wiz, right? That's a primetime tip as well. And of course, MSG will have that one covered. We'll be live post-game, as always, fam, as the Knicks pull out a close one, 111 to 109. Man, you see the key storylines to come from the ball game down low. I think the ball movement was encouraging. I think, albeit inefficient, the cat shooting, we got to see the spacing there, and the bench spark. I think we got to see a closest thing to a rotation reveal. And let us know your thoughts on what Tibbs did with the rotation tonight. I think as advertised, in terms of his words in camp, where he did like Shamet. Shamet was really impressive in camp. I think he likes Payne's experience and change of pace. Obviously, Deuce is there, and he does love, Precious, and the big man help that we have. And look, I've got to give them their props again. Precious and Jericho Sims were really impressive as well. And I think, the bench stole the story tonight, which is easy to say because they played the whole second half. That's not going to happen, and they're going to be tested, to produce in small spots. That's the thing, guys. When you play a longer stretch, you can get into your rhythm, and you can start feeling better. But in the real games, you got to come in for 5-6 minutes and produce, and the starters will come back in. AP says, do you really believe this team can challenge the Celtics? I'm not convinced. Yeah, it's completely fine to have, whatever opinion you have early in the season because it's really early, and you got to give the team the benefit of the doubt to figure things out first and foremost. But look, I mean, nothing's promised, because Boston are the reigning champions, To be the best, you got to beat the best. But I think we've raised our ceiling with the Cat trade, and I think we just got to, come together with chemistry, and arguably flesh out the depth, to make a deeper title run. But I'm never counting this team out because, as we saw last season, guys, backs to the wall, next man up. The vibes are immaculate. The chemistry is high on this team. So from that aspect, never count this team out. I think they will get tested. I think their backs will be to the wall at times. I think we are going to go from the Hunters to being a team that people want to knock off and be the kind of hunted in some aspect because we've made so much, noise and, the vibes are good. But yeah, ultimately, I think these guys just have to, silence any doubt, and silence some hate with that one. Nice. What's your honest take about what you see and where should we improve, fam? As I said earlier, I thought our perimeter defense wasn't great, early in the ball game. I thought maybe they're still adjusting to, whether to fight over the screen or to switch. So I think, fam, that's going to come. But yeah, perimeter defense early from the starters was my main concern that we need to improve on. I think the bench answered all the questions, the shooting, the scoring. I think there's enough there to start the season. I thought OG looked a little rusty, early under the bucket. He missed a couple of bucket bunnies. He got blocked. I think maybe he's just playing a little tentative, not wanting to get injured. But yeah, I think we'll see better games from Hart, typically Bridges and OG. And Cat's first game, I'm not really reading anything into it in terms of his first game, in the 15 minutes. But look, a more reliable defensive big off the bench would be ideal. Precious has a chance. Sims has a chance to show that they're worthy of that. But I think that those are the key weaknesses that I saw with this one. Now we have Knicks legend Jay Boogie in the building. He was in the building tonight with fam. Jay Boogie says, big time win for the future. A lot of communication and conversation with Towns and Brunson, OG and Bridges looking to make this thing work. 100%. Appreciate the insight, Jay Boogie. Let us know what else you saw in the ball game live in the arena. But look, first preseason game, man. We don't have a lot to prove. Charlotte have more to prove, I feel. Dre 2K says, looking like the bench is better than last year already. I think if Deuce takes another leap, man, that's huge. Kolek looks ready as well. I think we'll be more steady this season, fam. Only 10 turnovers tonight in a preseason game is pretty good, considering, the bench played the entire second half. But yeah, in terms of Mook Morris, we couldn't keep him, fam. It was all financial. We wanted to keep him, but it was financial. We couldn't. I don't think some fans understand how close we are to the financial restraints, right? We're literally a few hundred K away from not being able to go over the second apron. So yeah, would have loved to keep Mook. Buzzer with a super chat says, Boston are 2-0. Are they in championship form? Let's go Knicks. Look, I don't really care what Boston are doing early. I think it's going to become postseason, how we look. I don't think this roster will be the final roster come postseason. We're hearing talk about Marcus Smart. The Knicks were aggressive, fam, to try to get Walker Kessler. And I do think that Leon Rose will do the necessary, if there is struggles. So with that said, I think, give us Boston opening night, man. I give us a chance, I think we're going to be definitely locked in. If you think we're 100% locked in tonight, then I think you're wrong. This is a first preseason game. Guys don't want to get injured, and guys don't want to go 100%. Too. Also, like S. Murphy saying, small sample, big things will come. 100%, guys. Yeah, we've still got some people, negative Nancy's in the chat. Obviously, getting their opinions out here as well. I respect it, but I don't necessarily agree. But, guys are going to have to produce, silence the doubt, of course. But when it comes to certain fans, it just depends on what their MO is, Some are more player first. Some are more team first. It's just the way that it goes, you know. Some want to be proven right, you know. We did say goodbye to Dante and Julius, you know, two beloved New York Knicks. And for some people, you know, they're not going to be able to live that down, right? It happened with the Ewing trade. It happened with John Starks. It happened in the past, right? But us diehards, we continue to roll, and we've got the streets buzzing. And I support this team no matter what. But I will call out, I will critique what has to change. 718 says Skapensev did his thing with Boston. Yeah, he wasn't the type of center that the Knicks look for, but he's got an offensive game. I think defensively, we need a guy that's a bit more stout too. So, but in terms of depth, I think the Knicks have got something bigger cooking in relation to that. And look, Jericho's a cheap salary, so is Precious as well. But if you trade Precious with potentially Mitch, I think you can make upgrades. Keep Deuce McBride out of any trade talk for me, guys. But I think you know, Leon's shown that, you know, he's not afraid to trade a bigger piece. You know, as the run continues in the future years, Josh Hart, you know, could be a trade candidate in the future. Not saying right now, but if this team does have struggles, Leon Rose will make necessary moves. You know, Cat's here, JB, we got Bridges, we got the core guys that I think are going to be there to carry us to the finals when we get there. You got 718 Fresh saying campaign over Brunson. Yeah, that's just trolling at this point, fam. Troy says, what are your thoughts on TJ Warren? TJ Warren, man, if he could stay healthy, I think, yeah, we could do with him, man. Thanks for the question. I feel like he's a chance to stick. Jay Boogie had a chance to chop it up with him, and he's feeling optimistic about sticking. He didn't get any burn tonight, but I'm not reading anything into that really. I feel like, you know, first preseason game, you know, you don't want to go too crazy in terms of just giving everybody minutes early. You know, you need to give your core guys their first minutes and sort them out first, I think. But maybe as the preseason progresses, we'll see more TJ Warren. But we do need a player like him, a bit of size, versatility, yeah, and a guy that can score a bit as well. But for me, the second standout was Landry Shamet, and you can vote him #LS in the chat. My first one is Deuce Miles McBride, man. The first major standout for me. 25 minutes. I think that's about what we're going to see from Deuce in the regular season. He's going to be that guy that plays with starting lineups as the, you know, players sub out. He's going to be there to run the bench unit as well, scoring wise. Shot clock falls down, broken play. Deuce has shown that he can be a guy that can create a bucket now. You know, for an undersized guard, I agree with the Knicks evaluation that they see Deuce as a wing, a scoring guard kind of wing. Yes, he can facilitate some, but I think his strengths are becoming quite clear now. His main strength, and that is scoring the bucket, scoring the ball, is Deuce Miles McBride, man. Perfect 100% from the free throw, 45% from deep, off 9 attempts. Absolute money tonight with 22 points. So Deuce is the standout. He would get my game ball tonight. He could start. He could start on this team, I feel. You know, and we've seen it. Yeah, Ryan, he sourced tonight. Dre says Shamet will replace Dante really well this year. I'm optimistic, but look, Dante's on another level, I still feel, and he showed it. But Shamet, yeah, he could be this year's version of surprise, you know, in terms of what he gave Dante last season. I mean, 8 attempts tonight too. What we'll say is as well, guys, you know, is that everyone's going to get better shots. The quality of shots is going to get better. So don't be surprised if we do see shooting percentages make a bigger jump, fam, in terms of that. because the floor is spaced out better. Last season we had to work really hard to get good looks and a bucket. And some people thought Brunson was a little tunnel vision, a little bit ball hog at times, but it was a matter of circumstance. Players were down, he had to shoulder the load. I think now we saw tonight with Brunson pick and pop, and with Cat, we saw some high-low action, and we saw some ability for the ball to move faster as well. I definitely noticed that, guys, for me. So that's a big tick. In terms of the assists, Cameron Payne got 6. Shout out to him. He was inefficient, but at least he got 6 assists off the bench, getting guys involved. So that's key as well. That could be his role, just to get Deuce going. And it helped, man. Brunson got us 3 assists as well. As mentioned by the guys on the beat, James L. Edwards and Christian Winfield, those guys noticed the ball moving faster. And they also noticed that Cat can pass. Cat's passing out of the double and the post was a welcome sight. So we might not miss the passing of Isaiah in the post because Cat can do that. So if he can live up to the billing defensively, then I don't think we're going to miss Isaiah much, outside of maybe the offensive glass. But in terms of Cat's first bucket and a sneaky assist from JB, this one was the best one from JB tonight, man. No look pass. Cat from the logo, basically, as well. You could just imagine MSG guys on a postseason game, the crowd going crazy, and Cat popping one like that, right, to break the hearts of the defense, right? There's literally nothing you can do as a defense with that, with a guy that can space it, no hesitation. You can't even close out on a guy that big, that far out. So it's crazy. I think the potential is sky high. So, like, to answer Buzz's question, I could see us beating Boston because we can match up against them. But teams are going to get physical with us and we're going to get tested. The Orlandos, the Clevelands, the Indianas, those guys are going to come at us, be physical. Old Head says, I expected a bit more from Toppin, hoping TJ shines Wednesday. Shamit is a keeper as well. Yeah, on that, guys, we've got a new nickname. What do you guys think about it? Champagne for Shamit and Payne. Landry Shamit and Campaign. They call them Champagne. And I think those guys are going to be really valuable pickups. I mean, you got to love the shooting from Deuce, from Campaign, from Shamit, sorry. Anthony says Shamit, tougher than Bridges and Cat. I like what I saw from Shamit, man. He's my second standout. In terms of Dante, yeah, last season was a surprise, but he got the volume. He got the attempts. I don't think we see that version of Dante if guys don't go down. When you get to play 40 minutes a night and get in a rhythm and you're a shooter, you could really find your spot. And I think that is big in terms of why we saw what we saw last season. Right, Shamit is going to get really good looks off the bench playing with Payne and Deuce because he's going to get up and down really quick as well. So the debut of Cat and Bridges is in the books. I'm glad, man. Those guys can just get back to basketball. They can get it out of the way now. And we can focus on the second game and improving. So what'll happen, guys, is Tibbs will go, he'll go through some film like he does. And he'll talk about the good and the bad from tonight. I thought we were a little slow offensively early and a step slow defensively. But the bench definitely deserved to their props for picking us up and getting us back into this ball game, right? But the starters, they weren't at second gear, I don't think, and I feel like we'll see a better version in the second game. As things become more real, with better competition as well. Look, we do have a habit of looking down on competition. I think we saw that last season with a couple of those, heartbreaking, frustrating losses. And I feel like this season we can't be complacent. because we just, we can't expect to just steamroll everybody. We have to come out and play with that defensive tenacity and effort. Steven, says Shamit makes a roster. I agree with that one, man. 100% too. Yeah, I'm liking the champagne. Do we need more scoring? Fresh thinks we need more scoring. Ryan says totally on the Shamit making the roster. My standout, Deuce Miles McBride, 18 shot attempts. What do you guys think about that? He's definitely got the green light. So I like to see that. Look, I think a really, really important player for us this season is going to be Precious Achua. Fam, right? He's on a cheap deal, right? He will hear his name in trade talks for an upgrade. But I feel like if Precious Achua, shows us the potential from last season and continues to grow, I think he's a keeper, fam. In terms of a guy that can, attack closeouts like he does here. He plays with force. He plays strong. He gets blocks. He'll rebound for you as well. He'll do a bit of everything. I think if he can hit the corner three, then that is going to be gravy. But in terms of Precious Achua, man, he will see 20 minutes a night. There's no doubt about it. Maybe more on some nights as well. He's going to be the pressure valve for OG and for Cat. When it comes to letting those guys sit, if those guys get injured, Precious is the next big. He's the next big up, basically. Can he play a similar Randall role, an Obi Toppin kind of role, where he comes in, can play off the other guards, and be that live big as well that can cut. We got to take each game seriously. Yep, like Knicks fan 5B says. Yep, teams will be extra motivated against us. Yep, 100% agree with that. DN says start Precious over Hart to increase the size. I think that'll be the second look that Tibbs maybe goes to in his weapon. I think Precious can definitely guard 3s, 4s, 5s, and we need more players like that. Players need to be versatile with what we want to do. But I think Precious will benefit off our ball movement, because he cuts, he plays well off the ball, like you see as well. He'll get to the rack, and he'll put pressure on the defense as well. And look, I did give credit to Jericho. I think Jericho Sims definitely, showed some growth that what I saw tonight, in a smaller sample. In terms of Jericho Sims, 5 offensive boards, 5 defensively. He looked a man tonight. He's put on extra muscle, and he's going to be hard to move under the on the block. I think if he can develop that little post up move where he can get the jump hook going, I think Jericho Sims could be a real factor for us as well. So I mean tonight went as perfect as it could possibly go for the bench, maybe outside of Cameron Payne, but even he had some good moments, with the 6 assists too. So look, our bench is better than what people think. I've talked about it. I think McCullough could press for some minutes. I think Tyler Kolek will absolutely press for some minutes, guys, as well. If anything, the starting 5 was a bit, the most underwhelming part of tonight, right? But of course, they did have the highest expectations coming in. What's up, Michael Drake? Salute. The Knicks get their first win. Kolek was fire as expected. DN says give Sims consistent minutes, he'll come through. Yep. DG says J Boogie, it's an early Christmas, baby. Connaught says give starters time to gel, big changes. Absolutely agree. Yep. Good level-headedness coming through from some of the chat. But love to see the pride, the passion you guys are showing, man. We've got the streets buzzing. Right. To be the best, you got to beat the best. There's nothing wrong with holding this squad to high standards. I get that. Also, they've got to come through. They've got to show. But they're gonna need some time. They're going to need some time to come through, man. But for me, Cat isn't a full-time five. I just don't think defensively that's going to be what we saw last season. I think Cat to close games out at the five could be cool. I think Cat 50-50 at the four, at the five. That's what makes Precious really important. That's what makes Mitch's health really important as well, fam. Because, we could see that version of the Twin Towers, like Mini. If Mitch gets back, put him next to Cat, I think we're solid defensively again. That deterrent from, getting to the cup is going to be there, with the rim protection. Buzzer beater, did I see the Knicks play any small ball tonight? Yeah, I think the bench pretty much plays some small ball. We've got Kolek, we've got Payne next to each other. I like the pace of that. The starting five, we didn't really see it too much, but you could say OG at the four is a little small as well, guys. But yeah, Buzzer, I think we did play a little small in terms of speed with the triple guard lineups with Shamet. Shamet's 6'4", so I think the pace helps us get better looks off that one. So now we just got some trolling, fam. I'll put Anthony in a timeout on that one. DN says Mitch is not a long-term solution. Got to move him or drastically cut his minutes. I think Mitch, the health is the biggest concern, man, and which is why I think the Knicks are looking at solutions, other options. But I'm definitely not discrediting Mitch when he's healthy. I think we just need to see him, and we need to depend on him. When it comes to late in the season. OG got his bag. I'm not worried about tonight's performance, man. I really feel like OG is a guy that is, he's the ultimate role player. He'll drift in and out of games. That has been OG's career, guys. Don't expect OG to just come in now and be a feature. His game is always kind of like play off of other guys, I think. But he's that weapon where, when the defense keys in on other guys, then he gets loose. He's a deadly threat cutting to the rim with his verticality and his hops as well. Boogie says, I need Bridges to get aggressive, stop trying to fit in, right? I gave up 6 picks for you, get aggressive. Yeah, it'll come, man. It'll come, J-Boog. But yeah, I feel like Bridges has got some alpha. I'm not worried about Bridges. He's got that alpha in him. He's just trying to fit in, like you said. I need to see him, step up more defensively with Bridges. I think the perimeter defense was a bit lacking tonight. But as I said before, guys, I think that's contributed to adjusting to the new schemes, Tibbs did speak on, wanting to switch more and not just fight over screens on that one. To the intellect, what's up? Salute. Ryan with the super chat says, coming soon, surrounded by yellow stars. Salute, Ryan. Appreciate you for the contribution, man. Coming soon with the super sticker. Let's get it. What's up, Jeremy? Great to see you as well. Guys, we're ready for a brand new season. Good to see some familiar faces in the chat, some new faces. And we here heavy this season, guys. We're going to pack our arenas like we do. MSG is going to be our fortress. Best believe that, right? When you want to get a good seed, it starts with winning your home games, right? Early in the season, just take care of MSG, right? We all know we can hit the road. We're road warriors as well. I'm not worried about these West Coast trips so much. One of them's pretty straightforward. We've got Portland, we've got Utah there. And then one of them's a 5-game West Coast trip with Golden State. And some other guys, but this will be a talking point, as the Knicks continue to still improve the roster. If a guy like Walker Kessler is made available, right? I think Leon did the right thing, walk away. 2 first-round draft picks would absolutely deplete our stocks. So, see if the price can come down, walk away, and put Danny Ainge back in his spot, So I think we'll see what else is out there. But hey, Nick Richards impressed me tonight. What do you guys think of Nick Richards' game? tonight. I thought he was solid. He was kind of maybe auditioning for that role. He's going to be the starter early because Mark Williams is out for the Hornets too. But like Buzzer asked in the chat, I think the 3-guard lineups can be great off the bench. I think Kolek, Payne, and Shamet. Kolek and Champagne. That could be our new chemistry guys, our new clique off the bench. Those guys can all spot up, they can all shoot, they can all play make, and they can all dribble as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of ball movement, scrambling like you see in this play as well. One thing that Campaign's good at is he's shifty, right? He's not an easy cover. He's Cameron Payne. And Kolek looks like he's got a little crossover there as well. So Tay-Mac, Mega's in the building. What was your standout, guys? You can vote for your standout player tonight. Just drop a hashtag player initials or player surname in the chat, right? Deuce Miles McBride, man, his hive continues to grow. And man, he could be a 25-point per game scorer, right? If he gets 26 minutes a night playing with the bench and the starting units as well, man, he could catch fire in a second. He could rain threes like Steph, right? I think there were stretches last season where Deuce, like, you know, you blink and he's got 9 points, you know, back to back threes, and he can pull up as well off the dribble, and he's deadly from the catch and shoot. Jeremy feels like Kolek has Stockton kind of potential. Absolutely, I could see it. Although, you know, Stockton's a Hall of Famer, so it's high standards. Rory says, how do you feel about Kolek, the chef? He definitely showed he's ready, I feel. And I had a kind of a feeling after Summer League, but I just wanted to see it against NBA competition. Because one thing you had to factor in, guys, is when you're Kolek tonight, you're playing with NBA teammates, right? You're playing against NBA opponent, but you're playing with NBA teammates, and that can help you and make you look better. In Summer League, you know, it's kind of like you're playing with all the other Summer League dudes, and, you know, those dudes can't create as well, and those guys, you know, are in the same situation you're in. So it's more congested. So I think with Kolek tonight, he benefited from NBA spacing. That's for real. And you see a nice bounce pass, and then he gets it. And what I also like from Kolek is that he didn't hesitate. You know, he let it fly too. So I think the 3-point shooting is surprisingly legit. You know, 3 of 5 from distance from Tyler, 3 of 5 from deep. Of course, it's not always going to look like that, but if you give the man good looks, he might be able to knock those ones down. So that's great. That's a welcome sight. Now, Jake Toppin and Chuma Okiki, nothing stood out to me. I thought Toppin was active. He's a good body, good size, 6'9". He got us 4 rebounds. He was +8, 2 turnovers though. Does the usual rookie stuff. Although he's not a rookie, but he's kind of the two-way player. I thought Okiki is always a long shot to make the roster, but I would like to see a bit more of him. Hopefully he gets more of a chance, and we'll see how it plays out. Guys, Shokan's in the building. Kolek for sure. I think there will be more great games from him. Roberto says, anyone remember how McBride and Rokabitis went off in Summer League? Kolek and McBride can be submitted in that NBA level. At that NBA level, fam. Yeah, good tandem coming through. Yeah, look, a lot was made of why Rokas Jokibitis wasn't signed, fam. We let him walk over back to Europe, and I feel like Rokas is kind of, you know, a version of Tyler Kolek. You know, maybe a more of a shooting guard version, whereas Kolek can provide playmaking and spot up shooting, which is what we need as well, because we've got Payne, we've got Shamet. So I can understand the moves that Leon Rose did with that one. Yeah, Nick says Deuce impact was instant. He's basically our 5th starter, fam, 6th starter when it comes to Deuce. But yeah, just really pleased to see Kolek, the rookie. And I think anyone that questioned, his, game or ability to maybe produce, I think you see it tonight, Um, I don't know if, prepared to make a bold statement about him getting, major minutes, but it looks like, if needed, he's ready, and he can step up as well. Do we see any votes coming through from Kolek for the standout player tonight? Looks like Deuce McBride's still in the lead. We could have used Rokus's size, says Pablo. I feel like he might still come, but I feel like he's still a good a trade chip. So we'll see how that plays out. The champagne bench has to hold until Mitchie comes back, says Roberto. Yeah, I feel like Mitch's impact could be that boost come December, January period. Or, we might have to use him, to upgrade another area. We'll see how that plays out. But the key thing that I saw with the starters, guys, is that with so many weapons, certain guys will have quiet nights, right? Just to play their role, right? So there's a difference between having a bad game or a underwhelming game and just fitting in. I feel I like to separate the two because there's a lot of mouths to feed. If Brunson's got a hot hand, yes, he needs to distribute, get guys going, but at the same time, to win in the NBA, you ride the hot hand. You ride the hot hand. A player that's hot shouldn't just be passing the ball just for the sake of it, just to give another guy a shot. So I think you will see nights like this. OG, Bridges, Hart. You know, not much in terms of the scoring, but Cat obviously and Brunson will be the top scorers. With this unit. But yeah, Bridges, OG will be heavily invested in using their energy defensively to make up for the deficiencies of the other guys when it comes to Brunson and when it comes to Cat. Also, I don't think Hart got out of second gear tonight as well. So that's going to come. Vaughn's in the building. Kolek could be used like a mid-rotation pitcher kind of role. Salute DeRass. Let's get it. Chris is in the building as well. Tyler Kolek and Shamit delivered as far as new recruits. McBride is a six-man general for sure. Absolutely legit. Look, I think we did a great draft night, fam. And we haven't even seen Pacome Dadier. We haven't even seen Kevin McCullough. But to get a first-round talent in the second round on a really cheap deal, I think we saw Kolek's a rotation piece, right? We haven't seen Ariel Hukporti as well. I believe in his talents. So I'm not going to be surprised if he produces for us as well when needed. But yeah, I like Kolek's game. I like Payne's game because they're unselfish. I think they will move the basketball, right? Shout out to Payne. 6 assists is solid. He found Payne. He found Tyler on a couple of the shots as well. But both can pull up off the bounce. For a point guard, that's really important, fam. Not every look can come catch and shoot, but if you can pull up off the bounce, that's it's really really helpful, in terms of spacing and floor movement as well with that. But I mean, defensively, play of the game from Kolek on this one, and this is what I want to see more of. This could really light some fire under the bench and the team when it comes to getting stops from your point guard, right? He battles, that was on the scouting report. I know a lot of people feel like he's undersized for a defensive player, as a defensive player, but on the Marquette scouting report, Kolek was a guy that's, he gives maximum effort, and he gives you good hustle as well. So he gets a big tick for that. Salute, guys. We're rocking out post-game live. The Knicks' first preseason game is in the books. We've got 200 people in the chat buzzing, smashing that like button for us. And great to have you with us. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Welcome in. We shout you guys out, as you've seen. I engage with the chat, give you guys your say. Of course, we break it all down together, fam. But I think more questions were answered tonight than not. So I feel good about the bench. The starting five, it's going to take some time, to find their rhythm. But I think if everyone's on their game, this is no doubt. I mean, probably the best starting five for five, pound for pound. But in terms of offense, I think defense, obviously we're going to need on the toughness of OG. We're going to need Cat to do some things he did tonight, which is deflect the basketball, play good drop coverage, intercept those oop threats, and all of that. And I thought we saw that a couple of times from Cat. He battled down low, right? He's going to give you good effort and energy. So I think, for a limited sample, I think he gets a pass for me. Now, obviously, inefficiency from three and from the field. But, he's probably very nervous, getting those butterflies out. First game as a New York Knick with brand new teammates as well. It takes time, to figure all of that out. But, yeah, more intelligent players, like Tekla Rory says, I think you can never have enough of that. Guys that are heady and are open to setting guys up, and helping guys get easier looks. I think our offense will function better this season. It'll be effortless. I think the biggest question for me now, guys, is defensively. How much do we feel the absence of Mitch and Isaiah Hartenstein? But if you're hopeful and optimistic, the positive is that Mitchell Robinson is obviously still here. So if Cat can be serviceable defensively, and obviously Mitch gets healthy, then that's going to provide a lot of what, Isaiah provided this squad, and we go back to being, that defensive juggernaut, and defending the rim at a really, really high level as well. But we heard news from Mark Stein that the Knicks were very aggressive to try to get Walker Kessler, but the price, man, that Danny Ainge put 2 first-round picks was too high. So Leon Rose moved away, fam, and he pulled off the big trade, like we seen. Now, I mentioned tonight a lot, but playing at a faster speed, there'll be a lot of trailers. We saw Cat getting his 3 via trailer. Here's Kolek. As Payne progresses the basketball up the court faster, which is what we need, you're going to get some trailers. So Payne pushes the tempo. The man has to commit to him. If you look at that, the defender has to commit to Cameron Payne, and that opens the door for Tyler Kolek, right? A simple basketball play, a simple little jump pass can get that guy an easy look. So that's decisiveness. That's a play where, you just get a guy a simple shot and Kolek doesn't hesitate, man. Puts the ball on the floor once and spots up. So that's a good little preview of those two that could potentially play together, even with a dual point guard lineup when it comes to that, right? I like this hustle play from JB, right? You don't want him to overextend himself too much early, but here he is. He's still got that speed, gets to the basketball first, man, and gets his first dunk of the season. JB. As he starts to turn up the Jets, we'll head to Washington, or we'll face Washington. We head back to New York City. I think that's a good point also tonight, guys, is that, this team's been away from home, for a long time, all week in Charleston, tonight in Charlotte, and then the team will finally go back to New York, man, where they get home, get back to their own bed, their partners, home cooking, all of that. I think this team's ready. Also, I feel like they're probably a bit leggy. Your legs are a bit soft after a tough training camp. Well, best believe Tibbs would have absolutely ran these guys in camp, right? Doing suicides, doing closeout drills, all of those things, fam. Conditioning. That's where you get your conditioning up when it comes to getting ready for the start of the season. It's not just X's and O's and shooting. It's conditioning as well. So yeah, I feel like the sky's the limit. There's only upside, right? There's only upside from here with the starting five. Hart and Bridges, a lot more to give. Same with OG, but a man who gave all that he had was Deuce McBride. Man, standout player of the game for me. 22 points, picked up where he left off. Guys, it's just such a welcome sight to see a Deuce Miles McBride after losing Dante DiVincenzo, right? As we get ready to wrap up the post-game live, it's been a great show. Deuce McBride wins the standout player by a vote. And plenty of things to be encouraged about tonight, guys. Salute. It's been great to break this down with you all as the Knicks win by 2 points away from home. We get back to New York City now. The Garden is going to be rocking for the Garden debut of Bridges and for Cat. And look, these bench Knicks are going to be coming in with more confidence now. Nobody's knocking the bench right now in terms of being able to play together and put the ball in the cup, right? But some of the starters are going to have a bit more to prove in this second game, right? No doubt about it. There's always going to be some things that you can clean up and fine-tune, right? But these guys will come. They'll come ready. We've got Washington. We've got 2 days rest. I think training camp's over now. Those guys that can rest their legs a bit. Like I said, I feel like they're a bit leggy tonight from all the running, right? But DN, salute Ryan, 718, Vaughn, nice, Chris, AP, Buzzer Beater, and everyone else. Apologies if I've missed. Roberto, DeRasts. Tonight was a great show. Great to get your thoughts on it all. Let's go New York Knicks, right? We'll be back either tomorrow night or the next night. Break down the latest news. We'll see what happens in the wash-up to tonight's win in Charlotte. But let's get it in the next game. We've got 4 more preseason games to get ready for Boston opening night, right? We have to be ready for that one. We can pull off a huge surprise and a shock if we pull that one out, right? We'll get a lot more respect, I think, coming out if we do knock off Boston, right? But shout out to Deuce, shout out to the team. The bench was great tonight. And some pleasing things from the starters as well. But let's chop it up soon, guys. Peace, everyone. Smash the like button. And I'll see you on the next one.